Welcome to Greer's Rod Shop.
I'm Trey, and in this episode, I'm going to continue disassembling the Mustang. I'm going to pull the motor and take apart some of the body. I will also remove the convertible top for easier access to the rusted floors in the back. Come on in. To prepare for pulling the motor, number 3 helped me remove the hood. While we were at it, I removed the trunk lid and its hinges too. The first thing I removed from the engine compartment was the battery. Make sure you label everything that you can. Right now we're just going to unhook things that specifically relate to the motor and label them, but otherwise we're going to leave everything attached for the moment. I drained all the fluids from the motor, and if the car had run recently, I would have evacuated the air conditioning system. But I was pretty sure after 20 years of sitting, the refrigerant had already leaked out. Once I had the battery out, I worked on disconnecting the radiator hoses and the automatic transmission fluid lines. I won't need any of these after I convert to the manual transmission. I disconnected all of the power steering lines and I removed the air cleaner assembly. Next, I disconnected the alternator and some electrical and vacuum connections. Then the air conditioning lines to the dash, and then more electrical connections on the other side. These two connectors, you have to push these tabs in to pull them off right here. It's deceiving because it looks like they should pull out, but they push in, and if you pull real hard, these things will pop out like this, making it easier to get your hands on it. But it did take 2 people. I had a helper. Number 3 helped me. There are quite a few electrical and vacuum connections all along the firewall, so I undid most of those and labeled them. I removed the fan and the shroud together, then out came the radiator. The radiator will be replaced with a better unit. The factory radiators barely keep the stock motor cool and are not adequate for a motor with more horsepower. With all that done, I hooked up the engine hoist to the motor. I used a load leveler on my engine hoist to make it easier to match the angle of the engine. It's not necessary, but it sure does make it easier to get the motor out. All right, here we go. Carefully, I hoisted the motor up and found several connections I missed, so I labeled and disconnected these as I went. Once the motor was out of the way, I attached it to a motor stand and moved it off to the side. The mighty 5.0. My nose cap and driver's fender were all damaged, and the passenger fender had rust holes in several places. I started with the nose cap and removed it with the headlight header panel still attached. The header panel cannot be purchased new, and mine's in good shape, only needing some minor repairs, so I carefully stored it for now. Next came the fenders, and then the front and rear bumpers. I moved on to the doors next, removing the door panels first. My doors have quite a bit of rust along the bottom, but I found a set of rust-free doors in good shape, and they're power window doors, which will be convenient for everyday use. I need to remove the glass from the original doors to put it in the new doors. Removing the glass was scary. You gotta drill out the rivets without busting the glass. Also, you need a helper, so I got number 3 to come out and lend a hand. She also helped me remove the doors from the car. I started the convertible top removal by removing the rear quarter windows. When I put the car back together, I will restore the tracks and the seals for these windows. I'm also going to convert them to power operation just like the front windows. I first removed the rear window and this trim strip at the top. The installers must have been paid by the staple. There were hundreds of staples. More staples and trim at the front of the top, and the fabric was ready to come off. I folded the frame up and unbolted the frame from its mounts. My good friend and neighbor Josh came over and helped me lift the frame off and move it to the side for storage.
Excellent.
At this point, I have a lot of the car stripped. There was a bunch of stuff in the engine bay that comes through the firewall though. Gonna remove the dash so we can get to the air conditioning components. So I can remove everything from the engine bay, and we're gonna have to get all of this liner out of here anyway to see where rust is underneath at the bottom. There's a lot going to be going on under here that's going to have to get labeled and carefully taken apart. So do all of that and then show you the result. So here it is, the steering column and dash completely removed. There are a lot of electrical connections back behind the dash, and it was very tricky to get them all undone. A small set of picks and a pair of little pry bars were very helpful for getting all of these little factory connections taken apart without breaking the clips. Alright, just a few things left on the list.